Hello and good morning to Virtual Coffee. I'm Cheryl Leong from the Growth Hub. I'm so glad to have you here this morning. And we have special guests. I'm so excited to have the team here with me. Moriah and Faye from the Growth Hub, our human power. So people might refer to human resource, but we are human power. And Moriah's our Queen of Hearts, so our head of HR, and our Queen of recruitment as well. Faye, hello, ladies. Good morning. How are you both
Good
doing?
Good
morning.
morning.
Excellent. I'm so glad we're here. One of the things that the reason why I invited you for virtual coffee, and I hope you guys do have a good coffee because I know it's pretty early for you where you are.
Yeah,
That's
I
my
have
little,
it ready.
that's my coffee
On.
cup.
Yeah, I don't
Oh,
drink coffee.
that's all right. I actually, to be honest, it's a tea. So, it doesn't sound as good when you say virtual tea because people get
Yeah.
confused. So I'm just going to do a few admin things here. I'm going to share this to my private page so people can see that happening there. Anyone that likes to say hello to our team in the Philippines, drop a comment below. If you've probably, some of our clients have already, probably already met with Mariah and Faye. So I'm going to, and I know I'm putting you guys in a little bit of a, a challenging spot. Tell us a bit about yourself and your role in the Growth Hub. Mariah, you can start first, and then Faye, it's over to you.
Okay, so yeah, so I'm Mariah. I'm the manager of human power for the Growth Hub, and I've been here for more than a year now. And I started as a talent acquisition officer, which is face role now. And yeah, so I used to be part of the BPO industry, so the outsourcing industry as a customer service representative. And then I decided to switch my career to virtual assistant. And I've been liaising and handling clients outside the Growth Hub before, and then I got invited here, and so here I am.
Love it, love. And what was it that for you was the main thing that made you? Because the Growth Hub at the time when you started, well, there was only one other person, right? We've grown a little bit since then, but obviously we were a startup. And you've worked at BPOs before. Okay, so I've got my little people here. So, okay.
Yeah,
Um,
so
so yeah, what was it that made you think, yeah, I'm gonna give this company a go? What was it that really made you? And you're here, you're still here, so something must be right. What made you
yeah,
sort
we're
of go,
probably
yep, this is
doing
the right
something
one?
right. um, yeah, I remember last year. So I was doing this virtual assisting, and Sarah is a good friend of mine before the Growth Hub, and she mentioned to me that um, I met this CEO. She's really nice, and I know that you would also love her. And she has this goal to help other people find job, help clients grow their businesses and whatnot. And at first, I was a bit hesitant because I don't have a background in recruitment, but I know to myself that I have that uh, thing where I want to help out other moms as well. So that's where I started. This is my chance to help out my not just my friends, but all the other moms that has been asking me how to start up with virtual assisting, or how they can land a client and whatnot. So when I was given that opportunity to do so, um, that was my only goal back then. And then when I started the role and I started to embrace it, I knew for a fact that I have to expand my target people, and pandemic hit us like March 11 when I started with TGH, and then March 15 Philippines went on lockdown. So everything, like the whole thing stopped, the whole world stopped by then. And I knew for a fact that I needed to switch my goal, not just to help other moms, find work, but also all the other people that lost their job last year. And I believe that I'm still here because of that passion to help other people really grow and grow out of what they used to do. So not just if they started as a customer service or if they were working on the BPO, I do not limit them to what their experiences are. I'm open to having or looking at what else they can offer. Because that's how you looked at me when I started working here in TGH. And
Hashtag no tears.
I'm just nervous. That's why I have this voice. But that's how you looked at me before. I don't have you. You knew that I don't have the experience. You didn't even look at my resume back then. You knew, but you knew I don't have the experience. But you believed in me and in my goals that I wanted to help other people. So yeah, it's just me paying it forward to other people as well.
I really love it because it was the thing, and I mean, and this is an ongoing thing in terms of our recruitment as well. I mean, skill is one thing we look out for, but it's really the attitude and the heart of what people are really wanting to achieve and who they are and how they want to make a difference. And like you said, a large part of us working with our champions is the growth. And you can see in our tagline, it's powering businesses, but we're empowering people at the same time. And I love that we've seen your growth in the business, and 2020 was incredibly challenging for everyone, like the whole world. It was challenging, but like in our business, and personally, I know this growth was really pushed you, but it also allowed, from my side, I could be able to see we did things that were uncomfortable, but you took it on. It was uncomfortable, but we got there, and here we are. You're absolutely, I mean, you're going to be um, doing a certification in HR and things like that. It's so incredibly cool from that point. And now I'd love to talk to Faye about, obviously you've grown that human power role, the HR role, and now you're working. We've got someone, we've got quite a few clients now, and hence Faye's come on board to save us. But Faye, tell us a bit about your background as well, and why I guess recruitment is your passion.
Yeah, I've actually started working as a recruiter way back 2015, if I'm not mistaken. So I was a recruiter in a BPO here in the Philippines. But the passion started way back in 2007. I was applying with this prestigious BPO in the Philippines, and I told myself that I wanted to be a recruiter one day because I wanted to change how the recruiter mindset is. Because most of, I'm not telling it that every recruiter are, but most of them are just really looking at the skills and all that. And I just wanted to break that somehow, uh, at least make a bend on the rules. So that's where the passion started. And then I think God paved the way when I joined this particular BPO here in my place. And I was hired, or I was chosen to do recruitment for a telco account. And yeah, so that's where it started, and I'm so glad that I'm able to join TGH, because like what Mariah story, I was on a floating status 2020 because of the pandemic, so I had no choice but to resign. So I was really looking for the company who would trust and believe in me with my recruitment capability. And I was like on a search for how many months, and then luckily I land to the Growth Hub. And yeah, I think I really manifested the Growth Hub because I was really praying for it. And just to tell you a short story, the interview happened. Sarah interviewed me during my birthday, and I really can't say no because this is what I really wanted to do ever since. So I don't want to miss the opportunity. So I was really praying that they will call me back or get in touch to me again, because I really wanted to be part of the Growth Hub. I don't know. There's a connection, I guess. Yeah, so
I
that's
love it.
my story.
You know our words for the business, you know, empowerment, manifestation, you know, being we have this thing about being absolutely thankful and grateful for all that we have and in our team, you know, and I love that you mentioned about wanting to change the mindset about recruitment as well. So, you know, I mean, the topic for today is how to recruit your own Rockstar VA. And I always have so many clients, or not just clients, sorry, people that ask about the Growth Hub and go, well, you know, how do we get, you know, I've had not a great experience with either finding the right VA for me or working with agencies. But, you know, what's the difference with the Growth Hub? So tell me from your end what you guys do to make it, I guess, to make it different, and how do you find? Because we have hundreds and thousands of applicants every week and every month, right? And it's
Mhm.
not an easy process. How do you find the superstars in this very big pool of talent?
Mhm. Well, for me, what I really do is I really wanted to feel the heart and the passion of the candidate. I know it's not easy, but by asking them a specific or particular question that will open their heart and passion to what they are doing, that's the time when I can say that I am really happy to endorse this person, because
Mm,
I know, like what you mentioned, skills is already there and it can be learned, it can be trained. They can actually just go search it on YouTube and watch video tutorial and all that. But the character and attitude, it's something that you cannot learn overnight, or you cannot
mm,
learn from a tutorial. So yeah, I really wanted to connect with the candidate. I wanted to feel their heart and their passion. I know it sounds weird, but yeah, in recruitment, if you're really passionate about psychology and all that, you will really know immediately if the person deserves the job, or that person is just, shopping around and just
mm,
looking for a great offer. And yeah,
mm.
so that's how I do it on my end. And of course, I'd like to pattern it with how the Growth Hub is doing it ever since they started.
Yeah, absolutely. And how much do you think is really sort of a bit of intuition, knowing, you know, because you mentioned about, well, someone's sort of shopping around, because for us that it's really important that someone is committed to the role, because they're going to be part of clients businesses for a long term, right? And we want them to be dedicated and enjoy being in that role. How do you filter out the ones that, you know, because we've gone through this, Mariah. Remember, I had a conversation with Mariah and Sarah. We recruited for someone, for a client, for I don't know, up to 6 weeks or so. And I think it was week 4 that we had someone, and the client said, "Yep, that person's great." But after you guys debriefed, you actually rang me and said, "Cheryl, I don't actually think this person is going to be the right person, and I don't feel that she's going to stick around." Right? I mean, how? What are the alarm bells, you know, that you look out for to sort of go,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I think this person, yeah, they might have some talent, but I don't think they're going to be sticking around for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah, we're waiting for each other. No, I'll answer that because Faye was not around yet when that happened.
Yeah.
So the alarm bells is that this person this particular person only is setting a lot of things for us. It's like she's setting her own terms, and that's okay. We don't mind people setting their own terms. It's just that the terms that she wanted is not really something that we can compromise on our end. And that's not the first person that we had that. We've had several of that way back last year. But and you knew that they really just wanted the job because they needed the money, but at the same time, we cannot feel that they really wanted to help the clients. And that is where that's the red flag for us, that if you're not genuinely into it, that you wanted to help your client build their business and whatnot,
Mm,
um we can feel it. Like that's something that I really appreciate with Faye as well. When she started working for us, she knows when the alarm bells are ringing. Because we would definitely know it when you're speaking to us. We know that you genuinely wanted to help your clients, and that's the thing. Most of our champions right now that are handling all of our clients, every time that I'm doing their our catch up with them, they would always often tell me that I really don't mind if I lose this job. I just really want to help the clients get more clients. I just really want to help this person um, increase his or her social media reach. I just really want to see this business grow. So seeing those passionate lines, hearing those passionate lines from our champion made me believe that we can definitely find superstars among all these people. Because yes, you can have all the experience, you have the best skill in the world, but if you don't have the right attitude, if you don't have the right goal, then it will not work with us because we've seen those people, we've hired those people, we've hired several people that are really good at what they're doing. But at
Mm,
the end of the day, it won't work out with the client because they don't have the same goals. And
yes.
that's the that's the loudest alarm bell that we have here in the growth hub. So yeah, as soon as those are ringing, Faye and I won't hesitate to reject them because yeah, we
Yeah.
would rather have someone that has less skill but are
Yeah.
very passionate with what they're doing.
Absolutely, and trainable as well, because that,
Yeah,
one of the things that I'm really passionate about what we do is like when we have a champion and a client matched, they're, the client doesn't just get the champion, it's the team. They get a whole
yeah,
team that supports them. And we had a message from one of our clients today. You know, I really love having a champion, but also the support of the team. And that's, I know quite a few people have asked about sort of, what if I look for a freelancer on different platforms. I said, that's great. If you could find someone, that's wonderful. But you have to realize as well the culture and the family connection when they have a team to support them means that when you are super busy, Mr. and Mrs. Business owner, and you can't attend to them at every single moment, they have a team and a family that's still there. Like this, so you guys have social catch ups. It is all virtual, it is all remote, but then you make it feel like you can still balance working from home and being able to have a career and being safe. All right, there's a pandemic happening out there, it's pretty bad where you guys are, but being safe is such a huge priority, right? And doing that and feeling supported as well, I think. Um, that's been a really critical part. Again, really, really valuable for our clients who know that they're not alone and their champions are not alone, and for our champions to also know that they're supported. So I think
yeah,
that's awesome. I'm going to go through and ask some questions, ladies. There's not a test, but it's just for anyone that's keen to understand a little bit more about how the recruitment process works and how, what we look for in our candidates. So say take us really quickly through once we have a client on board, right? And generally I speak to her, or someone in our growth growth strategist will speak to them, and we say we have them on a where you work session. So the way you work session generally happens with your client success hero. For any of our clients here, that's been Sarah, or previously that's been Rosette. So you have a client success hero who is your point of contact. However, you also have someone from the human power team in that call. Talk us through a little bit about your purpose for being part of the way you work session. Mariah,
yeah.
over to you.
Yep. So the way you work session, actually, some of the clients would sometimes try to skip that part and just no, just choose whoever you think is fit and then just go on. The thing is, we find the way you work session very important, especially for us in the recruitment team, because that's how we're going to get to know the client, know their personality, their preferences. We would even ask silly question like, do you have a gender preference of who your champion might be? Do you have a particular this profile that you would want us to look for, or 16 personalities the MBTI type that you would want us to look for. And so we're not just basing it from all the tasks that they needed to ask their champion to do. The way you work session is to for us to observe our client as well. What kind of client is this person?
Mm,
Um, what do I think? Who do I think would fit this client's personality? Because
mm.
if the client is the silent type, and I would match him with another champion that is a silent type, I don't think that that would work out, because
It will
no
be
one would
crickets,
talk.
crickets. No one would
Yeah.
talk. Yeah, yeah.
And if there would be a client that is highly dominant, and then a champion that is highly dominant, then that might not work out as well, because they won't agree on something. So that's how we're like dating apps here. We're trying to match them with the right one, and we don't always get that in a snap. Sometimes there are days that we would fail. We think that this person really matches this client, but when the client interview comes, the client would choose the least expected candidate. So really, it's just really something for us to have a view. But at the end of the day, it would still be the client who will be choosing their champion. We just want to make sure that we are matching them with the right people, because um, we did that before. We tried to skip the way you work, and then things don't didn't end well.
Mm,
I
mm,
wouldn't. It's hard for us to identify if we're not included, and we're just going to um, hear it based on the feedback from the sales team, or from Sarah. It's hard to identify. But if we're not included on that call, oftentimes we would just watch the recordings afterward, and then we start running our engines for the recruitment.
yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned a lot about personalities, right? And I know, talk us a little bit about how we profile personalities and personality types with our champions also. So give an example of maybe um, what sort of personality tests we take, and what is it that we look out for specific types of task or roles. Maybe is this maybe a Faye thing, or
Faye
Faye?
can
Over to you,
answer
Faye.
this.
Yeah, so in regards to that, there's really no, for me, there's really no specific unless the client would tell us. Like, for example, the recent or the most recent client that we have, they informed us about the disc result that they are really looking for and the 16 personality test results. But there's really no particular. What we are really looking at is, of course, the percentage of this and how is it, what do you call this? How is it, I forgot the term. How does it match the actual interview? Because sometimes the test vary, or sometimes it differs from the interview. On the test it will show dominance and all that, but during the interview they're very jolly and, happy go lucky type of person. So it really depends. It's just for me, this and the 16 personality test is just a guideline for me. So I review them before I start the interview together with the resume and the video and everything. So I could start a conversation with them. And yeah, like what I mentioned, sometimes it changes. Maybe I guess it depends on their mood during the time that they are answering the test. But yeah, it's a good guideline for me on how to approach the candidate and where to, what type of question to ask them to get this feel, or to get this feeling of the passionate feeling from them, or if they're really passionate about what they're doing, their motivations in life and all that. So it is important, yes, but we are not really relying too much on the disc and the 16 personality test unless the client asks us to do so.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And I think it is a good guide to sort of go, what is someone's sort of their intuitive personality, because if someone's like, in terms of like say our research team, I know that a lot of our research team are S and C's, a little bit of D, and so we know that they're so for example, for me, I'm a high I, right? Not a great S and C, but you guys knew that. You don't have to look at my disc profile, but it's where, if you need someone to be really really organized, really detailed, the specific type of personality that suits that more than others. If you but you also want someone who is a bit more, say, um, getting on calls, appointment setting role. You might look for someone that's a little bit more I, still with a bit of S and C, but obviously personality, a bit of D as well. So I think there are elements there that we look at, but obviously it's not the only thing that we look
Yeah.
at, because the other thing that we do is video calls. So talk me through the, you know, and I'm not sure, did they do video calls in the BPO industry, or and how have you found the effectiveness of video, those video recordings that candidates send us, not sell us, they send it to us.
Yeah, for the video call, we don't do it in VPO because we do it, yeah, in face to face, and really there's really no way for us to like ask them to do such thing before the actual interview, because there's a lot of candidate every day. So we are actually, I was actually doing before hundreds every day in BPO.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
So yeah, that's actually an adjustment for me when I joined TJH, but I find it very helpful, especially the Loom video, because like what I mentioned earlier, it somehow helped me on how to build a connection or how to build a conversation with this particular candidate. So because I just want them to show the real them, not because it's an interview and they just wanted to show the best foot forward. I wanted to attack them, and not attack, but yeah, I wanted to ask them questions that will make them feel comfortable, and and also uh, it somehow give me an idea what type of person the candidate is through the Loom video that they are sending us.
Mm. Aya, what are your thoughts on the effectiveness of the Loom video?
Um, yeah, for the Loom video, it would give us the first hand feels of what the champion is and how they are genuine. But the thing about Loom videos is that it can be practiced and
Mm.
it can be rehearsed, and you can have your script for that. So aside from looking at that, we would invite them on a video call. So if they somehow pass or tick all the boxes during the Zoom video, we would invite them to a video call, because at the end of the day, it's still the face-to-face video
Mm.
interviews that would show who they really are, and how they were able to handle some questions under pressure, because
Mm.
definitely, and it's also a good training for them to go through a video interview with Faye or I, because before we endorse them to a client, or before a client chooses their champion, the client would also have to interview them to see if they would match.
Yes.
And the similar thing, we wanted to know as well if they would match with us as well, because
Mm.
we don't just let anyone, like we have series of filtering system before they can go through. So sometimes some clients would ask why we're taking a lot of time, because we really want to make sure that we are picking out the best among the best. We're not just picking out random superstars, because everyone is a superstar. Everyone has all the skills, has all the personality. But at the end of the day, we want to choose the best among the best for our
Mm.
clients.
Yeah, I remember when we did a recruitment, and we were looking at some of the numbers, and literally it's the top 1 to 2% of the candidates that we receive. So, talk us through some of the tests as well, the practical tests that we do, because one, obviously, a big part of what we look for is that personality and attitude and all of that. But in terms of other soft skills and tests, what are some of them that we perform?
Yeah,
Okay.
we have the typing test, of course, and the English test to test, of course, how well they do with English language. And those are the two, right, Mariah?
Yep.
Yeah, and the Loom video. So for the typing test, just to check, of course, how it's not really how fast they can type, but how efficient the candidate is. Because of course, most of the clients are doing non-voice and all that. So we just wanted to know how efficient the candidate in terms of computer literacy, maybe. I'm not really sure because when I entered CJH, it's already there. But I can see the importance of doing those tests, especially
Mhm.
the English test, of course.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are the only tests that we have. And then after that, once they completed everything, including the Loom video, that's the time that we are going to invite them for an interview, a Zoom video call. And so if they passed, I will tell Mariah that I'm happy to endorse this candidate. So now we are going to set up a meet and greet with the client.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I know with some specific type of client needs as well. So we say, for example, if we need to be able to have example, let's say tests for say for example appointment setting or someone with research that needs to do a lot of high level calculations and things like that, we also do ask our clients as to, is there a specific type of process that you have or an example of what you want to achieve that we can actually have the candidates execute so we can see their output as well.
Um, for me in particular, what we've been doing before, and this is on a case to case basis, and only if the client would want us to test them out on certain things. So, for example, we are hiring for a social media manager. Um, we would ask our candidate to submit their portfolio. If they don't have a portfolio yet, we would give them the opportunity to create one. Because it would show us that this person really has the skills. She may not have that experience of working on a certain business, but showcasing what she can do,
Mm,
that's really a handy thing for us. And then we have this the 6 week client whom we tried to hire for. We had the client gave us the Excel sheet test where we would send it out to the candidates and have them go through it, and if they pass that, they can get invited for a client interview. So we would also do mock calls
mm,
if we are hiring for an appointment setter. So we have several tests that we can do, but again, it's case to case basis and depending on what the client would really need for their champion to do.
absolutely cool, cool. So I'm going to get into this is I guess I think it's a bit of a fun bit, but the top three tips for people looking to get on board their first virtual assistant, right? Again, I get quite a few people going, oh, I've heard horror stories, um, like the VA comes on board and then they don't turn up and then I don't hear from them anymore. So I'll just go through some of the challenges that people do, and I'd love to hear your input as to, I guess, why it happens and how people can avoid it from happening. So they get uh, um, that the VA gets overwhelmed as well and they don't communicate very well. And then the third also is that um, I say they don't turn up, their communication's not great, or they can't do the task that I've asked them to, for example, So those are some of the challenges that I've heard people having, and also that they've tried someone but it just didn't work.
Mhm.
You know, they sort of, after a month they just want the right fit. What are the top three tips you'd give people that are looking to get on board a VA?
Yep. Um, I would start off first, because prior to joining TGH, I've worked as a VA before directly with a client, And the thing is, what this is based on my personal experience, and I hopefully that the client would pick up something from this. The case with working alone and directly with a client is that there's sometimes it's all work and there's no relationship,
Mm,
and that's what makes TGH different, because I don't want all of our champions to feel that way, to feel that they don't belong, and to feel make them feel like every day, every time that I have to log in, I just have to work, and there's no emotional support, there's no mental support and
mm,
whatnot. So
mm,
that's something that the clients do not see beforehand, and sometimes that's also what causing VAs not to show up to work anymore, or um, wasn't able to finish their task because they're too shy to ask their clients. Because again, it still boils down to building relationship. Because I know I've handled some clients that are really, really just would give you out the task, and then they're gone, and then they expect you to deliver, but behind the scene they don't know that there are also challenges that you are going through. You would
mm.
have tough family times. You would have to go through a pandemic and get locked down for several months,
Yeah,
and they don't know. They don't hear those stories because we Filipinos sometimes are very shy when it comes to speaking about our feelings or whatnot. And yeah, so that's the best tip that I can give to the clients. Do not hesitate to build relationship, and even just a simple asking how was their day. Oh, I've heard that you went on a lockdown again. How are you doing? How's your family doing? Because that's what you've been doing to us
mm,
ever since we started. So it
mm.
also motivates us that Cheryl made an effort to build relationship with us. So who are we not to build relationship with the rest of the team? And
Mm.
that's how they can keep their champions, because it's not just all work. And um yeah, so I only have project clients outside TGH now, but I'm in touch with them because even recently, recently I have one client in Western Australia that they had to go through what do you call this, a cyclone last weekend.
Yeah, that's right.
So that person usually always asks me how I'm doing, how am I, and then now that we have built that relationship, I can get to ask her back if there's anything that I can help her out with her business and whatnot. So same goes with our clients. That's what one thing that they needed to touch as well, because that sometimes it's not all about work and it's not all about business.
Yeah, because there's the human element of it, and we sometimes forget it. And I understand, as busy business people, often you're so super busy and you just want to get stuff
Yeah.
done. I understand that, and that's why I guess to a certain extent, if you as the business owner are unable to afford that time, the benefit of working with someone with a team is that in the back end, like you guys are constantly reaching out to people, you're saying how are you doing, and like I said, family stuff, like at the moment, like we've got quite a few challenges with a few of our team who have caught, that have caught coronavirus, or their family has been affected by coronavirus. It's a real thing. But and understanding that business owners just don't have that capacity to really check in, or just from a distance
Mm,
perspective, it's not easy. So I know the stuff that goes on in the background as well, to making sure that our champions are safe and they're well, not just physically but mentally as well, because you guys have been in lockdown for a good year now, and walking out, it's like, the numbers are pretty high. So I understand that bit. That's such a big part, building relationships, whether it's with the business owners, whether it's within the champion team itself. So that's number one. What's number two?
Just to add, yeah, for me, don't make your VA feel that they are just an employee. So make them feel that they are part of the business,
Mm,
because from there, of course, they will really feel that there's a need for them to care about the business and for the growth of the business. So make them feel that they are part of the business.
Yeah. And what's the importance with that? So I mean, when you because I've the feedback that I've had with a lot of working for big BPOs that it's almost a little bit uh I was not going to say, for want of a better word, a little bit heartless, but more so because you're like, well, I'm constantly doing the same thing in and out. Is there a detachment from the business output to what they're actually doing in those sorts of, larger
Mm.
BPOs?
Well, in the larger or the BPO here in the Philippines, you really will feel, or the agent will really feel that they are just there to do what is asked from them. They won't really feel, well, not for all, but for a
Mm-mm,
majority, that they
mm,
really felt that they are like a robot, that you have to do this, you have to do that, and then log out. That's it. There is really no like a life balance and all, work life balance, when they can, if they wanted to file for vacation leave, they have to fight for it. They have to ask the TLs, they have to ask their colleague if I can take this day off, because if not, there is a tendency that someone will take that day for the rest, for VL as well. So they really have to fight over just one day of VL. So
mm,
literally fight over it. So yeah, I think that's the difference, when you really include the employee as part of the business, as to compare it to just making them feel that they are just there because you're paying them.
mm.
You
Yeah,
have to do this because we are paying you. So
yeah,
if there is, after all, like what you mentioned, we are all humans, and we
mm,
have we need some tender loving care.
yeah. Absolutely. People want to feel people want to feel that they're appreciated, right? Everyone wants to feel at the end of the
Mhm.
day that's appreciation in what you do. If you work hard, like recognize the effort and appreciation. We've been really blessed. We have some amazing clients who, send little gifts or bonuses and all of that, and it's not expected, but it's just a small token
Mhm.
of their appreciation, and I think that's really cool. Um, I think that sort of segues into the third tip, I reckon, and because you mentioned Faye, like little robots. And what I see very often is um, clients or people looking for VAs going, here are all the things in my business to do, right? I've got social media, I've got calls, I've got research, I've got this, I've got admin and everything else. Can this one person do it? What are your tips around that?
Yeah. This is this should be one of our unofficial tagline. Again, over and over again, what we keep on mentioning, skills can be taught.
Mm,
So we have a whole team here that can help out whoever there's future champions are. We can help them out build all the other skills that the client needs. But again, just make sure that they do not look at the champions on what experiences they had, because they can have a long resume, but it will still not tick all of the boxes that the client need. So it's really important that the client would look at it that this is the main things that I need for my champions to do. If it ticks the main boxes, then that's good. Then I can train, or TGH can train the others less important tasks that I need
mm,
my champion to do. So
yeah.
yeah, so and one more thing is that the client should not be afraid on taking that risk. And because I know that they don't have the time to really train and introduce them to the business and whatnot. So that's where the whole team of TGH would come in. We can help them out on that side of things. But again, they should not be afraid on taking risk and believing on that person, because once you start believing on that person, they would also feel it, um
Mm,
like how you believed in all of us. this internal team, the heroes, or what we call our internal team, won't be built if you didn't believe in each of us. And
Mm.
so we are empowered now to step in and let you go on vacation, because we already know that we can do it without you.
You
And
can do it. You can do it.
yeah,
Absolutely. And
I remember, just a quick story. I remember last night, I messaged Sarah, you know what? I'm waking up at 6 a.m. Manila time every day now that you're gone. And she said, does that mean that you don't need me anymore? And I was like, no, this also means that I really appreciate you more now, because I'm starting to understand what you are doing for the business. And I'm, because we're both taking in on that
mm,
task. And
mm,
somehow I also feel empowered that you guys would trust me to do something that is beyond
mm,
beyond my comfort zone.
mm,
I'm not really comfortable talking to clients. I'm not really comfortable on doing the chit chat and doing the video calls with the client. But um, because I am empowered to do so, I'm more confident now to face on the client and do the launch dates with them, do the interviews without Sarah around. So yeah, that's the thing. So just believe in their champions, or believe in their VAs,
yeah,
and empower them. So that's the
yeah.
last tip that I can
The
give our
empowerment's such a big one for all of us, you know. I mean, even for my even for myself, like if you the more you're able to push yourself out of your comfort zone and go, I'm okay. It's okay. It's uncomfortable, but it's okay. Like this. This is okay. You know, we're having a bit of a chat. You know, and I love it because I love for people to see how amazing it is for this is personal growth. This is our growth of all right. I know I don't know all the answers, but I'm gonna step forward and take and trust in the process and know that people are there to support me. That know that they believe in me, and I need to believe in myself. And so important for anyone that's looking for a VA. Like again, these are you want to understand. You want someone to be with you for a long time to support you. Like you want them to see your vision, your mission, who you are, why you're doing this, and really bring them and have them immersed in your business and be absolutely motivated to help you achieve what you want to achieve in life because it helps them as well. The ability to work from home and have a good work life balance is really important for people. And it becomes like I said, I love why I love the Filipinos and our whole team is that there's real dedication and loyalty, which is fantastic. So it's been fantastic. So, top three tips. I love if anyone has questions, comments, even if you want to give these ladies big kudos, please leave it in the comments below. It's been absolutely fabulous, ladies. I know you are really busy because we've had a lot of clients come through. And again, we're not going to be perfect in the outcome. We're not always going to be getting the right people every time. But the great thing is that we're constantly talking to people, we're constantly recruiting superstars, and we're absolutely looking at superstars. It's not about the speed, it's about the quality. And we want our clients to be really really happy, and we want our champions to be really happy as well. So thank you both for sharing and
thank
taking your
you.
time out of your days. I know you've got lots of interviews to be doing and clients to attend to, so it's been absolutely great. I love what you do, and thank you for all your efforts and your dedication as well. You guys take care. Be safe.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl, for
Not
giving us this chance to
not a problem. It was my absolute pleasure. I had someone to chat to. It's an excuse. Take care, guys. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye
Bye.
bye.